Hey everyone, it's Rose Crystal, and I am back with another Danganronpa Trigger Happy episode. Last time, we're now looking for Chihiro's killer, and, well, the trial is right and underway. And also, if you guys saw my update video, this is where we're starting from now on, because, well, I can't get the post-trial scene I need because I have to replay the chapter, and, well, this is where I can get to. So, without any further ado, let's begin.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
Also, I want to make clear about something. This is just going to be part 1, which means I have to be very, very conscious
Okay, then.
about...
So, first
I have to
off,
be very, very conscious about my recording time.
let's talk about the murder weapon!
First, you have to make clear it was used to deliver the fatal blow.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Wrong, fool!
No, it's wrong!
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell? Found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood. And there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
You looked at her head wound?
Yeah.
Yes! That's so creepy!
Anyone else find him annoying? I do.
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit. Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
What are you, Ryuji? And yes, I've played Persona 5, so... And if you guys are... I'm sorry, there's not gonna be a Let's Play on that, because I'm already almost finished with the game anyway.
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack, the fiendish serial killer. He really killed Chihiro? And you all decided to non-stop debates like to hear more. Yup! This debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. There's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease, so take carefully when you have your silencer up. Oh, if your action's difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, you can pray about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck, and have fun!
The culprit is Genocide Jack, I'm sure. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
And why do you think that?
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Nope, there is.
No, it's wrong!
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
Hold on, I want to see something real quick. Okay, I can save. And yes, you see Chapter 2 end is because, well, I'm sorry, but I did have to replay the trial because, again, if you guys have seen my update video, the file was too big.
What? That's kinda weird as shit, isn't it?
What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
Tell them now, Yagi. They're the characters of a Genocide Jack case, which the world at large doesn't know. If I'm not mistaken, it's due to the itching in the body.
I got it! Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way!
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
That's exactly what he's saying.
Yes. In fact, it's Toko.
The bookworm?
What?
What? Okay.
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
You lie!
It's okay, Yukumi, I didn't need to hear him this year.
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, lotophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle? Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
No, for sure, but I feel like I understand it. What it means you're gonna say Jack is Toko, but also to not be Toko. The answer is that she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? And that's a little known term called schizophrenia. To shorten it, okay, where's the Z? Right, no, okay, schizo, which is schizophrenia. It means the ability to be multiple people.
Now I understand!
Also known as a split personality.
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
There you go.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
That's also another way to put it.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
One thing that shows Toko has personality has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed.
I got it!
It definitely changed.
You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine. I'm fine. Yeah. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? Yeah. She must have hit her head real hard and she fainted. The world is a front and a back, a top, ending, and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning, sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
I won't let Genocide Jack have control. I'll drive out the killer. Drive out the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
Dude, what the heck?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
No!
What?
She's the Blackens?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale. Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise,
I'm sorry. I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry. Never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me. That's the only reason I promised.
how many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it.
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I love how he's just like throwing insult after insult after insult at her. She's trying so hard to keep herself sane.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
Oh no.
Person?
Oh no, please no.
You don't mean...
Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, and in the next second... Whoa!
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Hi there.
What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
That's what I want to know.
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name. And what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
So intense.
Yeah.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This is the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack. This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds!
Oh, well, that clears that up.
Just kidding!
Of course.
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
Okay, she's freaking crazy.
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined.
That's very true.
So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
I'm gonna just save here real quick. No.
Yeah, I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
Maybe. Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I need to get some more details about all of this.
But I didn't kill anyone!
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
Nope, not at all.
No, it's wrong.
Let us explain why.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you! I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things.
I love that voice line too much.
Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Well, there's one clear difference between murders. And the folks know there's a jacket. Look at the neck and stomach. Here you'll see a clear difference.
I got it! For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right! In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce!
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference related to how she was suspended. When the clothes that are during the case, all the victims were stabbed with their hands. Here you'll see a clear difference. What was used to suspend
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement. Like I said, I I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use.
Most professionals are.
And you know what else? Big Mac said there's 2 differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
I hope not.
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Okay, she is.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There's a pattern to Genocide Jack cases and victims. And Chihiro didn't fit it. If you look at the name of every victim, what you'll notice is, I think I figured it out. Why she couldn't have killed Chihiro. Because Chihiro was a girl.
Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
They're all men?
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I killed with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
What is wrong with you?
The hell is wrong with you?
Thank you! Somebody said it.
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl! And the mopey side of me just hates it! But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
I don't even want to know what that means.
So, since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of a one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That is very true.
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class, envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that?
Wait, what? Oh my shit, weapons!
She's fully equipped!
Are we sure Monokuma even allows weapons in the courtroom?
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime!
Then again, he's not a normal headmaster, so you know what, never mind.
Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong, you can you gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot. The rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But the body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about that.
Yeah! That's why we figured it had to be the real deal, and not some copycat killer or whatever.
Actually, hold on, there is one person. One person who copied the Genocide Jack cases. There's only one person besides us who led the Genocide Jack files. Brittany, while you're up.
Here's my answer! Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it?
And yes, I did just call Byakuya. Byakuya, pretty boy. Come at me.
You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened, hadn't you?
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it. The adorable glasses man was behind it all. Oh, I'm on fire!
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Looking back and thinking about it now, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
No locker rooms. They're suspicious. Very suspicious indeed. Do you agree? Huh? Suspicious? It seems nobody searched the locker rooms. Let's start the girls' locker room.
You wanted to go to the girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say? The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
Nothing strange about that, I'd say.
I just saw a contradiction. I'm about to expose you, boy.
On the contrary, there's something very strange.
Exactly, thank you.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead. Share with the rest of the class.
Happily. There's a clear contradiction with the officer just said. I even make it clear to everyone. Next, we're going to add something called a truth flashback. Aim at a weak spot and hold down the left mouse button. Then you'll memorize that weak spot. Memorize basically being shot once with a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback feature as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a lie or contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use that to make your case. When's the best time to flashback? You'll just use your keen wits, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be repeating anything. Well then, good luck and have fun!
So, you said Byakuya was acting kinda weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro.
But how'd you know that?
No, it's wrong! I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold up.
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak.
Huh?
What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
The Byakuya's attitude. It's like he doesn't even care. I've got him cornered, but he's acting like it has nothing to do with it.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
The difference between this case and other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible for hidden in here? Look at it be. Oh, there we go.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... it was some kind of rope, was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
Oh no, I was right-clicking. Oh no.
Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
First, the enemy should be likely it was actually... No, it wasn't. Byakuya didn't use that. He used a very specific object.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it? When I want to kill, and I use those same scissors.
But Chihiro was some kind of...
That's right! Then there must be...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
You have!
No, it's wrong! Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you?
Alright, this is where we're going to end part 1. If you guys want to see more, please let me know right away. And I will see you all in the next episode. Bye, guys.